Hi guys, I'm Brad Medlin and I'm the Everyday Metrologist. Today I've got a special guest to help me out with some reviews and unboxings.
I'm Tom Myers. I manage the metrology team here, and we'll be reviewing and unboxing the Faro Focus line of large volume scanners, as well as accessories and tripods.
I'm still here. I'm sitting with my parents and watching the film. Yeah. Radio's kinda static here, you know. Since I only got 8 channels to go. Why do I feel nothing's gonna change? Nothing's gonna change my. Why do I feel nothing's gonna change? Nothing's gonna change my. Why do I feel nothing's gonna change? Nothing's gonna change my.
So we're back here talking about the new Focus series scanners, these large volume scanners from Faro. Behind me you'll see we have our S350 Plus as well as our S350 set aside. Here in the case that we're going to kind of go over now is the 150 Plus.
One of the first things you get to is welcome to the Faro family and highlighting the Faro Now Today program and community where you can check on warranty status, certifications, knowledge and database, as well as your contacts with the company.
You've also got a quick start guide. I'm not really going to go through this page by page for everybody, but it is just a guide and overview to kind of get you up and running quickly, as well as something you should always be looking for, your certificate of calibration.
Also included is the status indicator, which mounts on the top of the scanner device, as you could see on the S350 Plus. Status indicator light, solid blue indicates that it's ready. Slow flashing blue means that it's in operation. Fast flashing blue light means that it's in boot or shutdown mode. And then flashing red means that it's in laser scan operation. This is available for purchase separately if you have an S series scanner and this did not come with your Plus series.
Correct. Also, you're going to notice in this area you've got your chargers. So it's going to come with a main charger that can connect to the scanner while you're in operation. Not going to advise using that. We'll go over that here in a little bit more. But it also comes with a quick charge base for whenever you're not using your scanner. You also get the included battery, as well as some lens cleaner, lens cleaning cloths on the edge, SD and an SD card reader.
SD card case. The SD card currently is already installed in the scanner. Comes with a 32 gigabyte SD card pre-installed.
Ready to use. So that's basically a quick unboxing of what comes inside any of the new scanners when you order them this way. They're all going to have all these included parts. There's one other thing that's included, but we'll mention it and talk about it more, and that is the quick release mount for your tripods. If you want to pull that out real quick.
Absolutely.
It mounts to the bottom of the tripod, or it mounts to the top of the tripod and to the bottom of the scanner, so that you can very quickly disconnect, and this piece will stay attached usually onto the scanner. Okay?
Also, as far as the status indicator, there's two plastic pieces that are covering actual connector points in the top with the red surround. That's actually where the status indicator will actually mount to the top.
Just as a quick note to that, it is always the side opposite the power button. So red is always going to be opposite. There's a black accessory connector for something else they may be developing. We don't know. That's kind of out there. Possibilities, additional accessories that could come up for things. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind that there are some opportunities that for other things to be out there. Quick little overview of the scanner itself. Obviously on this side here, the side opposite of the battery door, you have your control surfaces, which you'll note kind of in the back. We'll probably set these up and run them for you here in just a minute so you can really see how they work. And the Plus models also get a fun little sticker above the S. So keep that in mind as well. Now, there are some things on the bottom that are still that I haven't been able to figure out exactly what we're using them for, but they are an accessory port underneath the base. Since this is an Android operating device, basically it's run off the Android operating system. It's based off that. Let me not say it's not running off that. It's based off the Android operating system. It does actually have a SIMS card slot in here and an additional micro SD slot. I've yet to be told what exactly they get used for. I'm just waiting on my most expensive cell phone to be able to be activated.
And now we have the S350 focus scanner. As you can see, everything looks virtually the same charging cords, battery, lens cleaner, SD card, USB connector, the SD card case, the tripod mount. It doesn't have the status indicator light attachment, being not the Plus series. Everything else exactly the same as the S150 Plus that we just opened.
Basically, it's a like for like. So here we have a standard traceable 3D sphere kit. It also does come with some checkerboards inside that you can stick onto things, but they are cardboard, so once you use double-sided tape or anything like that on them, you're probably not going to get another opportunity to use them again. They work very well. They're very effective, but you know, it's just a checkerboard. Just like anything else you can take and make a printout and use as a printed piece of paper. Inside here, you're going to the kit does come with several of the washer mounts, nail mounts. So if you want to nail this or screw this to an item, you can attach it that way, and then you have a fixed point reference where you can always go back and just reattach these to them, and that sphere will always be in the same space. Also down in the bottom of this, you have the small magnet extenders. So you have these small magnet extenders here. Just don't forget about those. We end up using these the most. 9 times out of 10, we put the magnet extenders on and don't take them off. The only time I could foresee that somebody would want to take them off is if they are using like the nail mount and mounting the spheres down to something where it's going to be a semi-permanent structure that's going to stay there that you're going to reuse. Because obviously you don't want to leave your spheres up just walking away from them for 48, 72 hours or anything like that. But if you can nail or screw these in place with some countersunk screws, it's a great way to come back and have targeting again in the same location every single time.
Another thing that we have in the case are several of these little tripod feet magnetically attached to the base of the reference sphere, and you can set it on any horizontal surface to give it, especially if you're using it out on gravel or sand where you don't have a nice flat smooth surface, this will give you a nice stable base to set the reference sphere on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what we have here is Gitzo's Mountaineer tripod that Faro provides. It is a 4-section tripod that can go up to 70 inches in height. So if you factor about 3 to 4 more inches on top of that for the scanner itself, your head setting will probably put you right around 6 feet. It also comes with a monotube extension here that Tom's getting ready to install, and that extension adds a little bit of extra height for you as well. So while he's talking about that and installing that, I'm going to pull these other accessories out there too. You've got some tools basically to help you get new feet installed and on there. You've got 3 spikes basically for the field in case you need them. It does come with the 3 larger diameter feet. We tend to see and use those the most just because they tend to do well on grading and things of that nature that we end up working with and working on. It's not something you have to have, but it is a good little tool.
We prefer to use the extension on the tripod because when we're actually doing a setup, we like to have the ability to do finite elevation adjustments, which is center monopole gives us, especially when we have a real tight section of pipes and we're trying to capture a reference sphere target out in a distance. We're able to do small finite adjustments with this, where doing it with the actual tripod legs you have to go into re-leveling. So switching out from that small piece to this portion gives us a lot more flexibility.
So while we're talking tripods, we want to show you how to put this traceable 3D quick attach onto it. So I've got the S350 Plus here that we're going to kind of go over the attachment procedure. And while I'm putting the actual piece on the scanner, Tom will pretty quickly show you how easy it is to just take this and attach it straight onto the top of the tripod. It's as easy as twisting it on. The actual quick attach piece, it grooves into this, so it locks in place once it's on. Basically, you just take the open head here, set it on top of your scanner. I would always advise you to take the nut for adjustment and face it towards one side of the scanner or the other, and to make it match our other scanner. Do that. It does have an included hex key that you'll use, and all you have to do once you place it on and have it in the angle you want it is tighten the 4 hex screws down. You do want to do this in a crisscross pattern. You do want to do this in a crisscross pattern. And it is just about as simple as that. Make sure you get these things nice and tight and snug, because if you do mount your scanner upside down and you try to use this as your hinge point, keep in mind that if these are loose, then you could have this thing fall. And this is not a very cheap piece of equipment to just let drop off. Once it's on, though, it just slots down, twists on, and if you picked it up, you'd notice the tripod is attached. Just a simple turn brings it right back off. And that's the traceable 3D quick attach that is included with the Faro tripods and also the Faro scanners. It's what they recommend. You can get other standard camera mounts. Keep in mind the scanner does have a standard 3/8 inch camera adapter on the bottom, so you can use any standard camera adapter quick attach. Most of our scanners that we've used up to this date, we've just gotten Gitzo quick attaches and use those. To each his own with how you want to use it. These are a great product to use, just as well as the Gitzo ones or any other standard quick attach that you deem is right for your use case. The tripods, however, because they are standard camera tripods, do have the 3/8 adapter here, and if you unscrew it on the other side of it, there's also the 1/4 inch attachment there too. So it's pretty much something that you can, it's a very versatile tripod that you can use for just about any application you'd have. The last thing we kind of want to give you a demonstration of is the S350 and the S350 Plus running simultaneously. The settings are both 1/4 and 4, and what we're looking at here is just a general overview of what it's doing, how it's operating, what the scanners are seeing. If it's any faster, you'll be able to notice that. If it's any slower, you'll be able to notice that. So, Tom, if you'll turn them, what we'll do now is we'll turn both the scanners. Hang on. Loosen it, turn it, and face it so they're both facing forward so everybody can get an idea of it. And 3, 2, 1. Both of these scanners are on the most current revisions of the firmware. We did update our old S350 as well.
You can see the Plus had already started scanning a few seconds sooner than the standard S series.
And keep in mind, the big thing with these is what they actually changed internally. So just like any cell phone or Android device, the big thing that they did right here with these is they added in a new processor and new internals for the lasers. So the gearing is new, the gearing sets are new, so it's a smoother setup. The meshes are, from what I understand, a little bit better. What that has led to is a drastic reduction in noise.
About a 30% reduction from what we got from information we got from Faro. 30% reduction in noise, and in 1:1 or half resolution setup, can scan at 2 million points per second.
And when we talk about a noise resolution, what does that equate to? Well, ultimately the big thing that we're going to see in the long run with our Plus model scanners is the two Plus model scanners. If we use them in conjunction, we can actually lower the quality. So instead of doing, for instance, what our standard procedure is a 1/4 and 4 scan for everything. So instead of doing that, we can drop it to a 1/4 and 3 and have the same essential quality at the end. So we get a much faster scan too. A 1/4 and 4 scan, and our scanner settings that we use are 1/4 and 4 with 2x HDR, even weighted for pictures. You know, there's a couple of cases when we're outside or in a window or things like that where we might change our color settings a little bit that might adjust the overall time. But ultimately, it's about About an 11-minute scan, 10 minutes and 50 seconds, something like that. Well, if you drop down to, and that's with the 2x HDR, so if you drop down to a quarter and 3x scan, where the benefit there is you're now looking at a 6-minute scan with 2x HDR. So you're saving 4 minutes per scan. Now, I mean, if we're running these things all in congruence and we've got all 5 of these bad boys up and going, then yeah, we're probably going to keep them all on the same setting just to keep the time frames the same. But
you don't want to have awkward jump settings in between one. Wait, hold on a minute for that one, where you're going to be in between having to walk through a scan that's already in progress.
And while the I gotta think of the term for what it is for when you clear a person out in the software.
Oh, the
moving objects filter.
Yeah.
While the moving objects filter is very powerful, it also adds a lot of time to your project. So if you can visibly stay out of the scan, I'm sorry for the AC. We want this to kind of be a real-time shot for shot, so we apologize. It's a loud turbo fan jet that blows 20-degree air in here. But so if you're walking through, you always want to try to keep your scanner settings the same, so that for that exact reason, walking through, that's one thing. But also so that if you've got an issue where you've got the 2 scanners and they can see each other, well, if you've got one that finishes early, you're either going to let it sit there until it's done, or you're going to go move it, and the next scanner is going to see it in just a scan, or it's going to see it in just pictures. Or it makes things a little bit awkward as well down the line that way too. If you do notice, so we have the S350 Plus here, the S350 original, the S70 down below it in upside down mode. This Travelier tripod we have with the geared monopole extension to it does allow for 2 scanners to be used on it at one time. There aren't a lot of instances where you do that, but
we have had instances where we've utilized it.
Exactly. And then hanging out in the back, Old Faithful, the good old 120S from 2012. Comically, it has about the same scan time as these newer scanners, 1/4 and 4. It's maybe 10 seconds longer or shorter, but it's also not doing HDR pictures, so there is that downside.
As you can see with the new Plus series with the status indicator light, giving you a little more clear indication. We do a lot of scanning in plants that are in operation, so we're not always able to hear the audible beep that the scanners give off. So a lot of times we're looking for visual indications, which the light will help us with when we're off at a distance and checking to see if the scanners are done, if we're not utilizing the app as well. When you're running multiple scanners, using the app isn't as useful, especially if you're running 3, 4, 5 scanners at the same time.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the opportunity to be able to, sync up 4 scanners or 5 scanners at a time for the on-site registration, but that's not something that's out there yet.
We're willing to create the challenge, help facilitate the challenge.
We'll facilitate the challenge. If they want to find a way to test it. I seriously would love to know what kind of compute horsepower. I don't think you could do that on a Surface Pro. Oh, there is one other thing I will add. So, for comparison, the S350, and it was a complaint we had immediately once we got started. The S350 is very quiet. And those of you that remember the old X series and the original S series, like the one in the back there, they had a much more audible beep to them. You could really hear them when they were active. When you were taking scans, you could, I'm not going to say that you could hear them from 50 feet away, but if you were 10 feet away and it was still scanning, you heard that audible beep, and hey, I need to quit walking up to it. There's another reason why the accessory for tracking it kind of helps as well with that light. The older scanners, the lighting systems with them, you really knew when it was scanning. Well, with the new S series, the pluses, the audible notification has had its volume increased, so there's a better speaker put inside it as well. Like I was saying, you got to think about it from the everything that's available to it. It's basically a brand new cell phone. All the bells and whistles that, when the new shiny iPhones come out there, it's basically that. It's got all these new features, and one of which is a better speaker. I don't know if you can notice it just sitting there, but it is definitely louder.
Yeah, I can definitely tell the difference between the two, but may not come across as well on camera.
Yeah, I wish the stereo feature of that microphone would be able to hint at it better, but probably won't help that much. I'm going to cut the AC back off real quick while this thing's finishing up.
You'll notice we have several different types, styles, sizes of tripods. We plan on doing another video at another time, highlighting differences between the different tripods, why we like certain features of some tripods versus the other ones as well. They are nearly done.
I need to check that one's firmware. They're on the same one.
Status indicator light's not flashing at the moment either.
Doesn't flash when it's not scanning. I'm surprised it's not flashing blue. We'll have to make
showing
some.
It's an operation.
Yeah, showing it's an operation.
Now it is.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I have to ask that question. So the new scanner is a little bit momentarily slower, but
We'll also have to validate the exact firmware.
I already updated it. Already checked for updates. So I do know it's on the most recent, but they are out there. I do have. You'll see a comparison video coming up pretty soon where I've actually got scans, and I'll show you some stuff from scene. Give you an idea of what the new scans look like. I took some scans of my Jeep with the new scanner and the old scanner set up side by side, just to kind of give you a rundown of what it looks like. And then I also took 1 1/4 and 3 where you can clearly see that the actual scan does capture a lower noise rate for it. And it also does it in a lot faster time. But until next time, I'm Brad and I'm the Everyday Metrologist. And this is my cohort, Tom. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.